And I am just over the moon to introduce Dave Dowling, who is very well known in the cut flower world. I've heard him on numerous podcasts. He's a wealth of information about so many different topics. He has a wonderful online course through the Gardener's Workshop on bulbs, woodies, and perennials that it's definitely on my list of things to do, if not this year, in the coming years. He was a cut flower grower for over 20 years himself and has been very involved with the American Society of Specialty Cut Flower Growers. And so when I reached out to Ball Horticultural to see if they might have a representative willing to help us learn about all their fantastic offerings and how to navigate their systems, I couldn't believe it when they sent me none other than Dave Dowling. So we are very lucky to have him here today. Get your questions ready for him. And with that, I'm just going to turn it right over to him.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Great to be here. What I'm going to do is go through basically what Ball Horticulture and Ball Seed and Colorlink and WebTrack, what they all mean, and what the company offers, and how to get set up as a customer and how to place orders. And once I'm finished with that, then I'll be happy to answer any other cut flower questions you might have, as long as they have still time in the meeting to keep going and answer questions. So I'm going to share a screen here, if I can get the right one. You should see where it says all the different Ball logos there. What I'm going to do is explain basically what all these different logos mean, because it's Ball Seed and Ball Colorlink are all slightly different things. Ball, the first logo there that says Ball, that's actually for Ball Horticultural, which is a international worldwide company that owns different horticulture companies around the globe. The headquarters are in West Chicago, Illinois. It's a company that's been around for a little over 100 years. It's still family owned by the third generation, and the fourth generation is in line to step up and take over the company in the next few years. Ball Seed is a North American company that sells the seeds, plugs, and bulbs to the US and Canada. And then Ball Colorlink is a department within Ball Seed that works with smaller customers. And then WebTrack is the online customer portal that's used for placing orders from Ball Seed. So like I said, Ball Horticulture is a big parent company. Then Ball Seed is the North American branch of that company. Ball Colorlink is within Ball Seed to work with the smaller customers, which would be most of the cut flower growers. And then there's WebTrack, which is the online ordering portal. This map just shows all the different Ball horticultural companies around the world. If you were to go to ballhorticultural.com, you could find this map and click on those red dots and see what's included in each one of those. But since we're in North America and most of the people in the meeting today are from the Northeast, these are the Ball Seed sales reps for the New England region. But now these sales reps mainly deal with larger customers. Think of the big garden centers, the big growers that then sell to the garden centers, and some of the bigger cut flower growers. But most of these sales reps deal with the really big customers and don't deal with these smaller cut flower customers that might be spending $400 or $500 or a couple $1,000s a year. Now then there's the Ball Colorlink, which is the in-house group of customer service reps that work with the small to mid-sized customers, which most of you people would be one of those, and you'll come within that group of customers. There's the phone number there for Colorlink and also the email for them. I'll show this a few more times if you want to write it down. But the call center and Colorlink, if you look on the left side of here, these are the people here, I'm sorry, on the right side, they're the in-house Colorlink customer service people. On the left, these people work with the Ball Seed, which is more the bigger like garden centers and places like that. And then within the Colorlink group is the group that I'm part of, which is the Colorlink sales team. And we're the ones that work with the smaller growers that are getting bigger and might need some help, or just placing larger orders and are much larger businesses. I deal with cut flower growers all across the whole country. And then the other 4 reps have different regions. And you can see here that the Northeast is with Mary Jo Varga, She's actually based out of Illinois, but she works with customers in the New England area. All of these Colorlink sales team, we all work remote from our homes, scattered all around the country. And I, like I said, do the whole country. The other 4 do their regions, basically the 4 quadrants of the US. And then Marion on the right is our in-house assistant that helps us. She's based at the Ball headquarters in West Chicago. So the Ball Colorlink is who you would call if you do not have a Ball account yet and need to set one up. You just give them a call. They do it over the phone. It's very easy to set up. Basically, all you need is the information that's already in your head, your name, your address, things like that. Probably the only information you don't have memorized is your tax ID number. So you just get that, then you're ready to go to call them up and get an account set up. And you can even place your first order when you call to set the account up. They do it right over the phone with you. New accounts are set up with credit card terms, which means your orders will be paid with a credit card. But the interesting thing with Ball and Colorlink is that your card is not charged till the order ships to you. So if you were to order plugs to ship to you in May, you don't pay for them today, you pay for them when they ship in May. The only exception to that is really big orders. If your order is over $5,000, they do run the credit card about a week before it ships, just to make sure the card's still good and active. They don't want to ship a $5,000 order and find that you went out of business or you're not going to be able to pay for it. Net 30 terms are available, but that takes a credit application to get that set up. So now the next thing we're going to talk about is WebTrack. That's our online portal to manage your Ball Seed and Colorlink account. Basically, you can do anything on WebTrack that you need to do with your account. Everything from placing orders, checking availability, checking prices, filing a claim for when UPS or FedEx kicks your box down the street when they're delivering it. And you can also use it to pay your invoices. Again, this page here is where you go to register, and that's if you already have a Ball account and you've not used WebTrack yet. You would go to webtrack.ballseed.com/register. You just need your customer number and your information to get set up. Again, if you don't have an account yet, you call this number here, the Colorlink office, and they'll get you set up with an account. And then once you do have your account, this is where you would go to log on, which is webtrack.ballseed.com login. You put your user ID number and then your password, then hit login, and that'll get you into the online WebTrack portal. What I'm going to do is go ahead and log into my account and show you how to place an order, search inventory, find prices, pay an invoice, all that kind of stuff. But first, I want to show you this one picture. This is the Ball Seed headquarters in West Chicago, Illinois. They have a huge trial gardens, display gardens that they do every year. They're open to the public anytime to go visit them with an appointment. But on the last Thursday and Friday of July, they're open with a huge customer appreciation day where you get lunch. They have presentations, seminars, all that kind of stuff, totally free. So if you're ever in the West Chicago area in late July, it's worth seeing. In 2022, I got them to add 2 of these beds for cut flowers. And for this year, 2023, we're going to have 4 beds of cut flower display. So you can see it's like 20 different Lysianthus growing side by side, celotias, sunflowers, lilies, all different crops in a comparison bed side by side for viewing. Once that time comes, I'll be doing some live videos from there that we'll be able to see. If you don't make it there in person, you'll be able to see it remote. So now I'm going to stop sharing, close this. And here. Now this page you see now is the WebTrack homepage. Yours should always look like this once you log on. The only thing you won't have, you'll never have this one that says change customer number. That's there for an employee so that we can change from one customer account to another. The links here you're going to use the most are going to be create orders and search inventory, then view or change orders, pay invoices, and then down here for claims. You either start a claim or you can view a claim. There's other things down here. You can sign up to get reports and documents. You can upload an order if you have it already on a big spreadsheet. from an Excel spreadsheet. You can upload the order instead of hand entering it. What we're going to do here is we're going to start with create orders and search inventory. And when you go here, the first thing you're always going to do is if you have more than one ship to address, you have to pick your ship to location. I have 2 addresses in here, mine, and plus I one time shipped some plants to my brother in Maine, so I had to add that as a ship to. So I'm going to do an order here for my address here in Delaware. Then the next thing you do is you pick whether you're ordering seeds or plants and plugs. If you order seeds, it's going to automatically put today's date, or if it's after 5 p.m., it's going to put tomorrow's date. You can change that and say maybe you don't want your seeds until March 6th and change the ship date. If you go with plants, you have to pick a ship date. You can either do it by filling in the week here, if you use planting weeks, or by the calendar, by clicking on the little calendar. And I'm going to place an order to ship April 17th. And that automatically tells me that's week 16. So then you can start your new order. That brings up the next page. And here's where you fill in what you're searching for. And then this is the supplier. It's already pre-filled in with a lot of the most common suppliers, but there's some that aren't listed in here. Like if you want perennials from Creek Hill or North Creek, that's not going to be in here. So I usually like to just X that and get rid of all of those, and then start searching for what I want here. I'm going to go ahead and enter an order for Lisianthus. And the important thing to know is you don't have to fill in the whole long word Lisianthus. You can put L-I-S-I. And because I've done this before, and I know I'm looking for cut flowers, L-I-S-I-C-F for cut flowers will look up just Lisianthus that are cut flowers. That's important because there are Lisianthus varieties that are only 6 or 8 inches tall, and they're for bedding plants. If you're growing cut flowers, you do not want to be ordering those by accident. Now I put Lisianthus cut flower there, and I don't know what supplier I want to order it from. I can leave that blank and hit search, and so I bring up every Lisianthus cut flower from all the vendors. Or I can hit the little magnifying glass here, and it's going to search for just the growers that sell Lisianthus cut flower varieties. You can see all of these here. We got Ball Colorlink, which is in California, California Seedling, California, Grow and Sell in Pennsylvania, and on down the list. Now I know, because I work here and we got a notice a couple of days ago, Grow and Sell has that capacity. They can't take any more orders for anything shipping before mid to late May. So I'm not going to ask or try and place an order for Grow and Sell. It's going to come up and show sold out. Because we're basically on the East Coast here in New England, I'm going to order from Q-Pack in New Jersey, because that'll be the closest shipping distance and would pay less than shipping. So you check that, hit apply, and then their 4-digit code fills in the supplier section. Now you can search for all products, or if you want to just look at the ones they have available, you can click show only available. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it at show all products and hit search. It takes a second, and it's going to bring up a list of all the Lisianthus cut flowers from Q-Pack for those weeks. Here's the list. And you can see there's 3 weeks here. The one I picked, which was April 17th, is shaded kind of a pink color here in the middle. You can go back. Maybe you want them a week early or a week later. Sometimes it may show sold out this week, but available a week or 2 earlier or later. Plus right up here, there's some buttons to go back 3 weeks, back 1 week, forward 1 week, or forward 3 weeks. So if I click this forward 3 weeks, it changed the date of these columns to 3 weeks later. So now the center column is May 8th. But we don't want our Lisianthus that late, so I'm going to go back to the April date. Now you can see that most products have a photo here. You can click on the link or on the photo, and it brings up as a bigger photo, or sometimes even this, which has growing information. And if you even go here and click on culture guidelines, it's going to give you a culture sheet that tells you how to plant them. It's coming. Spacing, germination, all the different colors in the series. Tells us about vase life, post-harvest, lots of information on that variety. So that's something you can do, is click on the photo, and it'll open up more information. And sometimes it's just a photo. Sometimes it's that cell sheet or the culture sheet. Now, if you look here, you can see ABC1 green and ABC1 green again. It's 2 different size trays. One is a 162 tray and one is a 288. You should know that a 162 tray has 162 plants, but those plants will be bigger because it's a bigger plug. The 288 is going to be a smaller plant and a smaller plug, but you get more of them. So here's what the date we picked was April 17th. So let's say we want to tray that one ABC 1 green in this plug tray size 162. You can put 162 in here, but that's going to now revert to, when you hit enter or go to the next thing, it changed it to 160 because they only charge you for 160 plugs. Most of the plug trays, once you get larger numbers, they always give you a few plants for free. If it's a small tray of say 36 or sometimes there's some 50, you're paying for every plant in that tray. Now, another thing to know is I'm going to go down here to the ABC1 purple 162. If you don't know what number to put in there, you can put a 1, hit enter, and then that 1 will default to what you have to order. And then you can order multiples of that. So if you wanted 2 trays of ABC1 purple, I can change that 160 to 320. And now I've got 2 trays of that in my cart. There is a go to cart button here. You don't have to do that until you're ready to go to the cart. As soon as you've done this and it's a check mark, that means it is in your cart. So right now I have this tray plus these 2 trays in my cart, but you may be wondering, well, what's the price on that? So for that, go here. I'm looking again at the ABC1 green, go over here where it says pricing, click on that, another window opens up and it'll show you the price. The price is always per 100 or per 1,000. So you need to move the decimal point over. This is per 1,000. So move the decimal point over 3 spaces. So those are 43 cents per plant. Now you might think, well, now what's it 43 cents times 162? You can't do the math for that here, but if you do go to your cart, click the button where it says view pricing, and it does the math for you and tells you that that one tray of 162 is going to cost you $68.86. And that whole order is going to cost you $206.58 before the cost of shipping. Now, the other important thing is some of the growers require you to fill a box, like Grow and Sell and Raker, both require you to fill a box. At Raker, you have to order 4 trays minimum, or they won't fill the order, or they will charge you a $25 small order charge. But right here is the thing, a button that says Show Case Totals. You click on that, and it's going to tell me right now, I've got that box, 3 trays, it's 3/4 of the way full. I need 1 more tray to fill that box. And you want to fill the box for 2 reasons. One, because some of the growers require that. And then also it's more economical to ship a full box because it's still going to cost you the $30 or $40 to ship that box, whether there's 1 tray in it or 4. So what we can do now is go back here and it says add more items. It's going to remember your search that you did before the item, but it doesn't bring it up here. You have to hit search again. And I'm going to add 1 more item, 1 more tray to fill that box. I just want to try the ABC2 blue rim, and I can order 1 tray of those. So now I'm going to go to the cart again. I can check the show the case totals again. Now it shows 1 full case, nothing needed to fill the case, so I can close that window. I can either finish the order now, or I can say finish later. Say I've put some things in there and I haven't decided everything else I want. You can go back and finish it later, but just know that with some things that might sell before you go back. This one has lots still available, so it's not going to run out. But if you were ordering something like dahlias or something like that, that there's only showing 75 more available and you've picked 25 of them, if you come back a week later, they might have been taken out of your cart and given to a different customer. Putting them in your cart does not save them for you more than about a half an hour to an hour. After that, it goes back. It stays in your cart, but someone could buy it out of your cart, so to speak. So I'm going to go ahead and hit here, finish now. It shows you its queue pack. It automatically puts a purchase order here. If you use your own purchase order numbers, you can change that. And then this box here that says customer reference, I always like to put something in there because it makes it easier to find your order later. If you want to either just look up the order to remember what you ordered or add to it or change it. So on this, I'm just going to write Lizzie in here. So when I look later, I'll know that that's Lizzie Anthus. This comes up automatically, ship best way. You can change it to customer FedEx or customer pickup. If you're close enough to drive and pick up plugs, I always recommend it, even if the drive is an hour and a half. Because if you pick them up, you save that $30 or $40 a box in shipping, and there's no way that FedEx is going to put the box upside down on your front porch. and dump all the plants out of the tray. So leave that at best way. This is important here where it says tag code. This says no tags available. Sometimes it'll have a tag in there. If you're ordering some plants do come with tags required if they're a patented plant, which you wouldn't be getting those from CubePack, but some other growers have patented plants. But if this says 1 semicolon to 1, that means you're going to get tags. If you don't want tags, you change that to 1 semicolon 0, and that means you won't get any tags. You can see here, this is the grower, is CubePack. Here's my email address and my phone number, or actually fax number. If you click the email box, it will send you an email copy of the order about 5 minutes after you place it. If you don't click that, the email will come through sometime overnight and it'll arrive in your inbox in the morning. I can view the final cart, where I can submit the order. I don't want to hit submit order because I have payment terms and that's going to make the order go through, and I don't want to place this order for actually. If this says payment order, submit order and payment details, you would click on that and another box opens up here where you put in your credit card information. If you used a credit card with us in the past, it is saved securely, and you can just say use existing card or add a new card. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to go to WebTrack Home because I don't really want to order this. And what happens when you do that? It says, wait, you've got items in your cart. What do you want to do? I can either go to the cart and finish it later, or I can empty the cart and proceed. But because I don't personally want this order, I'm going to empty the cart and proceed, and it's gone. And I'm going to go back to the home page. Now, I also want to point out, we're going to do another create order here. Pick my same location. Pick my ship date. I'm going to pick April 24th. I'm going to start a new order. And this, I'm going to go and order something from Edney, some of their dahlias. So I'm going to go here, get rid of all of these. Now, I know that Edney, New Jersey's code is EDNE, or you can use the magnifying glass, look it up, pick the letter E, and it's Edney right there. And you can check that. Now I'm going to look for dahlia. I'm going to look at just dahlia and see what they have available. So I'm going to hit the show only available. Hit search, and this is going to show me what dahlias Edney still has available that you could order now to ship to you in, I picked the date of April 24th. Now, once this list comes up, I'm going to point out 2 things to you about Edney that can sometimes be a little confusing. Is they have, in the form size column, it says BB1. And like here, it says BB1, and it says choose this material for the crate price, full crate quantity of 75. So if I try and buy just 25 here, it's going to default to 75 because you have to buy 75 of those because they come in a full crate. Computer's still thinking a little bit. There you go. So it changed to 75. So I don't want that. So I'm going to delete that and take it off the order. Now, if I want bag, and I know I only want bags of 25, I can go back up here where it says dahlia and add bag and search. And this will show the varieties that are available in bags of 25. They're updating the system today, so I'm going to go back and say show all products, and it'll show the bags. I just want you to see what it looks like. See, now this says bag, BB1. They're all showing sold out because they're updating the bag quantities right now. If you ever see something that says sold out and you're thinking that shouldn't be sold out yet, check back in an hour or give us somebody a call or email, and we'll double check to make sure that's not a glitch or they're actually updating the products at that moment when you're trying to order. So now I'm going to go back to WebTrack Home. But let's go back here. Go back to here. This was showing where, oops, all the different items that you could order from Edney. And one other thing I'm going to point out here is you can download the results. And if you want to include the pricing, instead of having to click on every one, you can download the pricing, and then you have to email it to yourself, put in your email and send it to yourself, and you'll get an email. It takes about 5 minutes to come through. We get a spreadsheet that shows the item, how many are available to sell, and the price per 100 or per 1,000. Then you have to do the math. If you're buying 25 or 100, depending on what you're getting, to do the math to see what the bag of 25 would cost, because the price will show per 100. So that's something there, the way to see an availability list, download it to a spreadsheet and then play with it. If you want to see everything that a grower has available, whether you're looking in CubePack, Edney, or anybody else, Up in here, we're in the search for window. Put the company's name, Edney. I'm going to search for only available because I don't want to see all the stuff that's not available now, like fall tulips or something. I'm just going to go ahead and search for everything that's available this week in April. Hit search. It'll show me everything. It should show gladiolas, lilies, dahlias, anything that's available to search that week. That's really helpful if you're ordering plugs and trying to find one more tray of something to fill the box. You can see everything else they have to offer. And sometimes it might not be a cut flower thing you'll add to the order. Q-Pack also sells vegetable plants and bedding plants. And you might decide, oh, let me get a tray of tomato plants or a tray of petunias and get something different to add other than your cut flowers. So this is thinking, because I'm searching for everything from Edney, it's searching through probably a couple 100,000 items, so it takes a little bit longer. Sometimes a lot longer. If it doesn't go through, I'll give up and start over with something else. But this is just going to show a really long list of everything that they have available. So it's taken forever. Someone just go back and start over. Maybe. We're just going to do this. I'm going to start over. Oh, Ball's computer system's slow because this shouldn't take this long here. Okay, so I'm going to go back here now to the home page. I'm going to log in as myself again. And we're going to go to look where you would change an order. So say you placed an order last week and you found, oh, I want to get another bag of lilies or two more trays of plugs. So then you would go here, back to the home page of WebTrack, view and change orders. This is where you can just look at an order or change an order. Click on that. It's going to bring up a search window here, and it automatically fills in a month before today's date to 2 years in the future. So if you're looking for last year's orders and see what did it order last year, you would change this back to the previous year. Go back to last December, last January, whatever you want. But I'm going to leave it December 22nd and search. Now searching for all orders, whether it's if you left an order in your cart not checked out, it would be required attention. A completed order means it's been submitted to the grower and it's completed. Now, if you look here, here's 3 orders I have in the system. This says no changes. This is actually from Darwin Perennials. This is one where as a sales rep, I'm getting a sample box of plants, and I can't make any changes to that because I have no control over that order. They're sending me samples. Right here, I've ordered eucalyptus from 2 different growers. One from Grow and Sell. You can see here which says Grow and Sell, and this is BTG, which is Baltagawa, which is out in California. And then if you also remember, I mentioned earlier when you're placing an order to put in that description of what you're ordering. This is where I added eucalyptus, so it says eucalyptus on both of these. Now, if you see this one has a green circle, this one has a yellow triangle. The green circle means I can make any change I want to the order. The yellow triangles means I can only make additions. I can't cancel anything because Baltagawa has already started those plants and I'm committed to buying them. So if there's that yellow triangle, you can't change anything that's already on the order. I can add to it though. If there's a red circle, that means you can't make any changes. You can't add to the order, you can't take off the order. If it's a black circle, that means it's already shipped to you and you can't do anything to it. So I'm going to go to this one here that's let me change orders and open it up. These little icons, the pen and paper means you're going to edit it. Here's my order. I've ordered 2 different kinds of eucalyptus. I ordered 408 of each. They're in a 105 cell tray, so I ordered 4 trays of each. I know that this size tray has 4 trays per box. So if I look at case totals, it's going to show me 2 full trays. Another option you have here is it says Baltagawa, or any of the growers link here. If you click on that, it brings up their terms. And sometimes it can be really long. But in here, if you scroll down, it tells you how many trays are in a box. Went too far. Plants in a case. The 105, which is what I'm getting, there's 408 plants in a case. If you get this smaller size, 288, that actually fits 5 trays in a box. So you got to figure to fill a box that way. So it's all kinds of information here if you read the terms. Some of the most important ones are the ones that tell you how many trays in a box, their minimum. If you're in Canada, which I don't think anybody listening is in Canada, it's really important to know way at the bottom to talk about FIDO fees and brokerage fees shipping to Canada. FIDO fees can be for some states. I don't think anybody in New England, any of the states do, but like California, Idaho, you have to have a FIDO fee, a FIDO inspection. So there's a fee to do that the customer ends up paying. So I've looked at this order. I don't really want to make any changes, but I could click here and say add more items and add more. I didn't make any changes. I'm just say abandon changes, and it goes back. I haven't done anything to that order. Now it brings me back to see my existing orders. And like I was saying before, if you were to change this date, an easy way to change is hit back and change that to 2021. Then search at that date. You'll see I had some other orders last year. It has the red diamond, the red square. Can't do anything to those. The other thing I'm going to point out to you is over here, the little truck, that means there's tracking information. So if you go here and click on that, it opens up with a tracking number, it tells me when it shipped. And click on that. This is last January. I ordered some, I forget what I ordered, but here's the tracking information on FedEx. It got left at my front door on Wednesday, January 12th. Then you close that, and then you see that it has tracking. If there's no tracking there, that means that we don't have the tracking information yet from the supplier. But once we have it, it'll have a little truck there. You can check your tracking information. One other thing I highly recommend for your tracking for anything, whether it's plugs and plants from us or things from Walmart or anywhere else, is to sign up for delivery alerts with both FedEx and UPS. That way you can always get a text every day, every morning, or whenever a label is printed for any order that you're getting, whether it's something from us, Walmart, Amazon, or your cousin sending you, anything that's being shipped to you. You sign up for those on those websites, either FedEx.com or UPS.com. And it's just really helpful to be able to know in advance that a box is coming. And you can also set it up so you get a text when the box is delivered. So if you're in the back field and not near the front door or near the barn, and FedEx delivers a box of plants, you know, hey, it's there. I can go get it and unbox it and take care of it. It's also helpful if you get a delivery that you didn't know was coming, or if it gets delivered and you can't find it, it means they delivered to the wrong location. Then you can start the search process much quicker rather than waiting a week later and say, I never got those plants. Where are they? And they've already sat on the neighbor's back porch and they've dried out and died. So we go back to the home page, which this link is always at the top. There's this thing here, it's called product catalog search. That takes you to an online directory that Ball has of everything they sell. Most items have a photo. You can search here alphabetically, or you can type in. I'm going to type in Lisianthus. And I can do just Lisianthus or the individual colors there, but I'm going to search just for Lisianthus. It's going to bring up all the Lisianthus that we sell, whether it's seed or plugs. And you can click on the product information. It takes you again to this page here where you can get the culture information. It takes you to, if you're a person that wants little picture cards, you can do this and fill out where you put that picture on it, and it gives you a card like you see at the garden center like this. It's sideways here. It's to show what you're selling. So those are great to do. I'm going to go back here to here. And it also has high resolution photos. All these photos are free to you for you to use on your website, Instagram, or anywhere else you want to. You can download the photo. And once it downloads, it'll open up on your computer. And it's on another page here. Has a photo like that, and then you can download that and use it on your website, Instagram, wherever you want. The only thing is we ask that if you're using our photos, you're at least buying our products. And it's also required that you don't label it the wrong name. Don't call this, ABC pink when it's really mariachi pink, to make sure you're using the correct name for them. So that's accessible from the WebTrack home right here. It's also down here somewhere, product resources. But so the other thing I'm going to go to here is tracking orders. I never use that. I just go to view and change and then see if there's tracking on the order. There is a way with our seed deliveries to actually have a barcode on the thing, on the package, where you can scan the barcode and it tells you all about that seed, the lot number, and all that information. Here's an important one here for pay invoices. If you click on that link, it opens up. You can either show all your open invoices, anything you haven't paid. This will also show any claims or any credits that you might have on your account. For instance, if you had a box of plugs come and one tray was just totally destroyed by shipping, you would enter a claim, you would get a credit, and that would show up here on your account. Or you can pick a date range and say, pick everything from November 27th to today. But I'm going to do all open items and search this because I actually have an invoice that I need to pay. Right here, you can see I owe $166. I can hit display print and it opens up a PDF of that order. So I know, yes, that's what I ordered. That's correct. I can either print that or save it. I don't really need it myself, so I'm just going to close that. I'm going to go back here and check the box in front of that invoice and say pay selected invoices. It already has my bank information. If you're paying invoices online like this, you can only do it with your bank information. You can't do it with a credit card. If you're paying with a credit card, it should have already been charged with the credit card that was on file from when you placed the order. So I'm just going to say, yes, I want to pay with that account. Say continue. Say I've read the terms and say submit. It's going to send me an email to my email address and boom, I just paid that invoice. I will get a ACH debit on my checking account overnight tonight, and the invoice will then disappear and show paid. So that's how you pay invoices. If you have claims, if something arrives damaged, or often sometimes something arrives short, if it was supposed to be 4 bags of 25 lilies and 1 bag is missing, you would start a claim. To do a claim, you need to either have an item number or you can search for your order. By searching the order, you can go here. I know my ship date was in December, so I'm going to put a December date here to today's date. If I search, it's going to show me, oops, my location is shipped here. Go to next. It's going to bring up that Amaryllis order I just paid. And if I'm going to do a claim, you do the little pencil here. That's create a claim. My reason I'm going to claim it is because, was it product quality? Were the bulbs bad? Were they missing? Did the invoice and paperwork say I was getting 10? They only sent 8. Was it shipping damage? Did FedEx drop the box and crush it? Did it freeze during delivery? Were tags hard good and pricing? Pricing would be as if you ordered something and either the freight was wrong, sometimes they make a mistake, or if you thought it was supposed to be 80 cents a plant and they build it $1.80 and you want to contest that price. But I must just say that it was a missing product. And the reason why is there was a shortage. Now, technically I'm beyond the time frame of placing a claim. So you have to click this saying you're acknowledged they might not accept it, because you're supposed to enter claims within 48 hours of that box arriving, which you should always open up your box of bulbs or plugs or seeds as soon as they arrive and notice if there's any problem. So I'm going to continue to the items. I had 4 Amaryllis. I'm going to say that this variety here, we'll say this one's Sovereign. And then I add that to the claim. And I'm going to say that on that one, the claim quantity, I want a credit for 4 of them because I only got 6, only 6 arrived. And the claim is final. If it was a claim for plants that might have come out of the plug tray and they might survive and grow and be fine, you wouldn't hit final losses yet. You would leave that blank, but I'm going to say final losses because there were 4 bulbs missing. So I'm going to say up over here, 4 bulbs were missing from the box. Now you could say, the box is broken, had a hole in it, give a reason, but me, I'm just saying there were 4 bulbs missing. The box was still taped up. There were no holes in it. I don't know why 4 bulbs were missing. They just couldn't count at the warehouse. And then you go here and say finish now. This one doesn't ask for any pictures because you can't take a picture of something that's missing. If you were saying that you had a problem with a tray of plugs that were damaged in shipping, then it would tell you need to add photos, and you click the box here to add photos, and you can say they're available now or you're going to have them later and you want to add them as soon as possible. You can drop and drag photos here if they're in your computer files. You don't have to actually go here and search. You can drop and drag. You can even drop and drag an email in here. So if you have, say, had your phone out in the field, took a picture of the problem, and email those photos to yourself, you can then drop and drag that email here as a file from your computer. So I don't really want to do this claim, so I've already got these bulbs, they're all fine. So I'm going to say exit. It's going to say, do you really want to abandon this claim? I'm going to say yes. Now, in the process of submitting a claim, one of the last windows that says, who do you want to be the claim contact person? That's where you make sure that has your name and email in there, so they'll contact you with any questions. If it is something that was a plant problem where the plants just didn't look right, but they might be okay, you can put on there you want to wait a week, 2 weeks, or 3 weeks and report back on whether they survived or you still need the claim. If you do have that where you're going to wait and update the quantities or the final losses later, the office will send you an email reminder and say, hey, this claim is open. Do you have your final losses and photos? And then once you have claims done, you can look here at the view claims and update. So you can see if the claim you just entered last week is in the process and where it is in the process. I'm going to look at, I don't have any open claims. I have some closed claims on my account. So I'm going to search this. I'm going to go back 2 years because it was a while ago and search my claims. I had a claim here for an amaryllis last year. I can't change it because it's already been paid, but I'm going to show you what it was. What happened is I ordered some of the clearance sale amaryllis and the variety got changed, but when the variety got changed, they didn't update the new sale price, so I was charged the full price. So here's where the price changed of $3.52, and I got a little bit of credit back onto my account. So I'm going to go ahead and exit out of that. But if your claim was entered and still in processing, it would show you on the far right where it's at, whether they're waiting for the vendor, which would be the supplier, whether it's Edney or Grow and Sell, to respond back with their explanation or either to accept or deny the claim, or it might say, claim process complete, just waiting for the credit to go through, because the credit doesn't go into your account until the vendor gives Ball back their money. So I'll go back to WebTrack Home. It pretty much covers everything. There's lots of little shortcuts in the order placement process that you'll learn as you go along.
Oh, no, it's not. I had to do it on my.
So I'm just going to go back and start another order for late March. Take all those guys out. I'm going to place an order for Baltagawa, which I know that's BTG, or you can also look it up. I'm going to look for Lisianthus. And I'm going to just do the whole word Lisianthus instead of the cut flower, and that'll show you. Now I'm going to do only available. Now, March 27th is pushing it for Lisianthus. That's only about 2.5 months away, and they might not have any. Well, they do have them, but you can see here. See how this is sold out on March 20th? They don't have time to grow them for March 20th because Lisianthus can take 12 weeks to grow. On here where it says custom minimum, this is something to point out to you, and this says available. This is a tray of 144, but if I put one in here, it's going to make me buy several trays. It's going to make me buy 2 trays because that's just for whatever reason, that variety, they're going to make you buy 2 trays of them. One thing I would point out, this one though says Lizzie, but doesn't say CF for cut flower. So if you click into this, that's only 6 to 10 inches tall. So that's not a cut flower variety Lisianthus. So you want to be careful to buy Lisianthus that says CF for cut flower. So I'm going to take that out of there. I don't want that. If you go down here, then it's Lisianthus CF for cut flower. And they have a really long list. You can set your page up to show 100 per page or as few as 10 or 20, but I always leave it at 100. But this even has a second page of Lisianthus. This is so just on the A's. It goes all the way up to, Roseanne and Rosita. So there's lots of Lisianthus, a whole nother page. This is only up to C. So there's a lot of Lisianthus. So you can go to that next page to see how many they have. And they even have another page of Lisianthus to see all they have. Now, to make that list shorter, to go back up here, you could have picked, well, I was showing only available. So showing only ones that were available. And even if the week that you wanted it, it's sold out, it will show you the item if it's available the next week. Again, you can go 3 weeks forward, and then all these will show up available because they have time to plant those. The other thing you can do is you can search by tray size. Say you just want to know Lizzie Anthony in the size 288 tray. So come up here and put 288. Hit search or hit enter in your keyboard, and it'll search just for the size 288 plugs. Whenever you place an order, usually the first item you try and put in, that little yellow box pops up, that little notice, that has a lot of the, just a brief outline of some of the terms for that company. You can always see the total terms here by clicking their name. The reason that pops up is like for Raker, where I said you have to have 4 trays, that box will pop up and says all orders must be 4 trays or more, or it won't be accepted. So that's about all I need to show you right now. If anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Again, the important thing is if you don't have an account yet, is to go and set up an account on the phone with them at the phone number 800-686-7380. If you already do have an account and are not using WebTrack, go to webtrack.ballseed.log in to get logged in with your account.
So I have a question about sort of the documentation necessary to start using the system. Certainly they want you to be a business.
Right.
Does it need to be a business tax ID, or will they use your personal tax ID?
Yeah, you just need to be a business. So we sell to people who then grow, whether you're going to sell a cut flower or sell a plant. We don't sell them for your own backyard.
Right.
But as long as you have my biggest thing is a business name and a tax ID, whether it's your federal ID number if you're set up as a business, or it's your social security number if you're set up as a sole proprietor. They just need to have a tax number. And then there are some states where you have to collect sales tax. They'll check with you on that when you're signing up. In Pennsylvania, we collect sales tax. New York, I think we do, because we have an office there. All depends where we have buildings located. If you are in a taxable state, you need to submit a sales resale certificate, so we don't collect sales tax from you. But when you're setting up your account, just ask them, do I need to give you a sales tax form, and they'll let you know.
Great. And then Jessica asked, if you are local to Edney, are you able to pick up an order, say dahlias, or is this exclusive to plug throwers?
No, you can pick up from any of our suppliers. We'll let you pick up. They all want to be notified ahead of time. Don't just show up, because your order may still be buried somewhere, not in the boxes yet, or especially with plugs that might be scattered all around the greenhouses, and places like Q-Pack, it's like 5 acres of greenhouses. And then, you show up to pick for 5 trays. They don't want to be looking for and running all around trying to find them. So you always contact them in advance, or sometimes they contact you to schedule the day and time that you're going to pick up. But most definitely can pick up. And especially great with Edney, because a lot of people like to grow in the bulb crates, and they're crazy expensive to ship empty bulb crates. And you can pick up as many bulb crates as you want when you're there. They charge $2.50 each.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. So one of the things I'd like to bring up, this is one of the things that kind of hit me hard my first couple of years buying, is that you really do need to give the companies some lead time to either grow these things for you, or you are in competition with other flower farmers earlier than you would think for things like bulbs. So maybe take us through the flower farmers year and talk about when and what we should be thinking about buying.
Yeah, let me real quick. I'm going to find here. We actually have a calendar online. I gotta find where it's at. It's in our catalog section. There is a, oops, not ball horde, I want ball seed. Spell it right. But ideally what you want to do is try and order your product when you're picking it this year. So when you're finished up picking your dahlias in August and September, that's when you should be ordering your new dahlias for next year. Sometimes even sooner. Here's we go. Catalogs and brochures. It's the wrong one. Yeah. Nope. This one. At the bottom of here, I'm going to bring up this. It's a calendar. It's basically for when to order different bulb products. And the only thing that's not a bulb product that you would be ordering would be plugs. And you always want to order those with enough time for them to get them growing for you. A lot of the growers have excess plugs in the spring. But I always like to say, it's like you wouldn't wait till the day before your wedding to go look for a wedding cake, because you might end up with a really ugly cake and not what you want. So order your plugs in advance and you'll get what you want for the most part. It's way down here. This one right here. And this is from the page that's ballseed.com catalogs. This is a bulb and perennial ordering guide from stuff from Edney, but it also takes into account, it's the same thing if you're ordering perennials from one of the other growers, you still want to order them in advance. But like amaryllis, you should be ordering those in February, March, April, May to ship in the fall. Same with the tulips. Now, sometimes the, what we call them programs, or the pricing and the information on that product is not updated yet for the new year. But if WebTrack lets you place the order, go ahead and place it, even if there's no pricing. Once prices are added, you can always adjust the order. With the plug growers, you can't change the order after they've sown or stuck the cuttings. With Edney, it's a month beforehand. The only exception to that is their berry root perennials. You can't change after November 1st, even though they don't ship till March and in the spring. But this tells you basically the dates. Things like callas, you order those in the springtime up into the summer. Lilies, they're available year round because they are actually stored frozen and shipped to you, and they start to grow as soon as you get them. They aren't lilies that you would buy in the fall and plant in the ground like you do tulips. You order lilies to ship to you in March, plant them in your tunnel, greenhouse, or in crates, and they're going to bloom 10 to 16 weeks later. And you can succession plant lilies. You can plant them. When I was growing, I planted them every week year round and grew them in a heated greenhouse over the winter. But this gives you an outline of when to order the different things. But like, as general rule is when you're finishing up the season this year, it's about time to plant them. It's time to order them again. So notice you're picking your tulips in mid-April, you should be placing an order in late April, early May.
And it seems so hard to be thinking that far out, but when you consider that you guys aren't charging us until, we have a little bit of window to cancel there, a lot of window. If you decide halfway through the winter, you're not going to grow flowers anymore, you're still safe.
Right. Plus it lets you, it's fresh in your mind what worked and what didn't work. Did you have too many red tulips? You didn't have enough white. Or nobody wants the singles, I want more doubles and parrots. It's still fresh in your mind. If you wait 3 or 4 months to order, you're going to think, oh, you're asking your husband, your whatever, what color didn't sell? What do we have too many of? And nobody remembers. So it's always, if you're doing it soon after you finish the crop, it's still fresh on your mind, and it's just easier to get what you need. One other thing I point out for plugs, I always like to say, order your plugs by Thanksgiving. So your plugs to ship in the spring, March, April, May, order them by Thanksgiving. There's other ones you might order in the spring if you're doing succession planning of things like celosia and snapdragons. You can have plugs delivered to you in June, July, and August, and just order those in the spring. But always order way in advance, so there's plenty of time for the growers to grow them for you.
And it is so nice to get midsummer plugs because you're working so hard. The last thing you want to do is be planting more seeds in your super hot greenhouse.
Nobody
have them arrive and ready to go.
Nobody gets their own succession planning seeded in June and July. It just doesn't happen. Very rare. Most growers are too busy making money picking and selling the stuff they already have.
And even the things that are so easy to grow, like zinnias, it's
although zinnias and sunflowers, I never recommend buying those as plugs.
Oh, really?
Just because they're so easy to grow, and also most of the growers will not guarantee that any shipping damage, no one will cover that because they're so easily damaged. They break off really easily. Both of those.
Okay, great to know.
I would never recommend buying either one of those as plugs. Even though some of the growers offer them, I wouldn't want them delivered because they won't cover any damage in shipping. One other thing I want to point out about our seed department, we have one of the biggest seed companies in North America, actually probably the world. At our seed headquarters in West Chicago, they have a seed lab where they do continuous planting for seed germination and testing. And they don't just put the seed in a wet paper towel and see if it sprouts. They actually grow them in plug trays, grow them out for the time it would be to when they're going to ship them to somebody. They have a computer program that analyzes them with photos and lights to make sure that not only did those 500 seeds sprout, but they all grew correctly. Because it's no good if a seed sprouts, but it's stunted and grows 3 inches tall and then withers away and dies because the seed was past its prime. So that's something I don't think many other seed suppliers do, is continuous testing of their seed for germination and quality of seed. We do our own coating, our own pelleting, And the other really big thing about a seed is when you order seed from us, if you were to place a seed order right now, it will ship today as long as it's in stock. And when you place a seed order, you know right away if it's in stock because WebTrack shows you how many seeds we have. So if you're need your seeds in a hurry or you want to know what you're getting, it'll tell you if you're trying to order a bunch of different zinnia seeds, it'll tell you that red variety is sold out till February 13th. And you'll know, okay, I'll go ahead and order it. I'll get it February 13th. All the rest is going to ship today. And shipping is free on seed orders at over $75. And under that, it's $9.95.
Can you talk to us a little bit about buying perennials?
Yeah, perennials are great cut flower to grow because they come back every year, especially, well, peonies are the number one. If you're not growing peonies, I highly recommend you do. The plants can sometimes be a little expensive if you get the fancy ones, but I would say, even though I sell all the fancy ones, you don't need them for cut flowers. Sarah Bernhardt, Monsieur Jules Ali, buy the cheap $4 or $5 ones, they work fine. But if you don't have peonies planted, get them planted as soon as possible because they take 2 or 3 years before they start to produce. Other perennials, you have your option of buying either plugs and liners or bare root. And real quick, just tell the difference between a plug and a liner. A plug is grown from a seed, a liner is grown from a cutting. Sometimes they're in the same size tray, the plants may even look the same, but some are grown from seeds, some are grown from cuttings. That's the difference between a plug and a liner. Bare root, sometimes you get the same plant bare root that you can get as a liner. We sell for Walter's Gardens out in Michigan. It's a huge perennial place, hundreds of acres. I've been there to visit before, and they'll have a 5-acre field of just one color of one plant. That's how many they'll sell of something. It's an amazing place to go visit or to see. They have an Instagram account that's great to follow. You get to see their huge fields and the equipment and bare root, but they do bare root and liners. So sometimes you can get a bare root phlox, or you can get a liner phlox of the same variety. So you got to decide whether you want a tray of 72 liners or a bag of 25 bare root. Depends how many you want, what you want to pay. Liners sometimes are not as fast to bloom as a bare root because the bare root is usually a year-old plant, sometimes 2 years old. So it's going to be a bigger, bulkier plant when it grows. But also you think of the planting. A liner is a little thing about the size of an ice cube that you can plant in the ground. Very easy to plant. You plant a bare root, something, you have to take out the shovel. You have to dig a hole. So it's more labor and more time to plant bare root versus planting a liner.
And do you ever sell like the huge perennials, or is that, not huge, but, the size that you would get in a garden center?
No, we basically sell all the starter plant for the people in the garden centers to grow to sell to the big plants. But the biggest thing we sell, we have a couple of growers that do some of the proven winter shrubs that do come in quart pots. They either offer that's like a 38 cell tray of liners or a quart pot. The thing is, a quart pot's going to cost you $4 or $5, and shipping's expensive because they only put one tray in a box. But they do have the quart size pots. They basically sell those, intending people to grow them in a bigger 2-gallon pot and have a big shrub to sell the next year. But cut flowers grow and buy those and use them for field planting. One thing I do want to point out is if you do buy anything that's a proven winter plant, perennial, they require you to buy a branded pot, but we have an exemption for cut flower growers. So if you do ever place an order that has any proven winter product and it says pots are required, we can get those taken off the order. You just have to ask. If you don't ask, they're going to ship them to you. And once they get to your farm, they're yours, whether you want them or not, and they're not cheap. But it's just proven. It's just Proven Winners marketing. They want their plants in their pots. Proven Winners has some great plants, but we can get the pots taken off the orders if you say you're growing them as a cut flower in the field.
And it looks like, oh, sorry, I was going to say Lindsay has a question.
Sure.
Thanks, Carl. So, Dave, do you have plants or seeds that have patents on them? And because I know that's come up like on my farm, and how that's handled versus planting them on your farm versus reselling them and that aspect.
Patented plants, when you buy them through us, you're going to pay a royalty fee. It'll be a line in the invoice, and also when you look in your shopping cart and if you click view pricing, it'll show the price for the royalty, and that's for the patented plants. All the proven winter varieties are patented plants. Lots of stuff that Ball sells that are bedding plants, like geraniums and New Guinea impatiens, those are all patented plants that you're not allowed to propagate them. But as far as cut flowers, all the proven winter things or anything else that's patented, I'm thinking like the limelight hydrangea, which actually they were patented, but the patent just came off of them like last fall. So legal, you can root those now yourself. But all those patented plants, if you're going to plant them in the field to grow as a cut flower, take all the flowers you want, all the stems, sell all the cut flowers you want, but you can't take cuttings to make more plants. Does that make sense?
Yep, exactly. Thank you,
Okay.
Dave.
And a lot of those, if you did, some people will order, say the proven winter things and plan to sell some of them as plants, because some of the cut flower growers also sell plants. They do have to pay the patent for all of them then, and then also always sell a patented plant. It's supposed to have a pot tag in it with the picture and the name and the patent number on it, just so the end consumer is supposed to know I can't propagate this also.
Any additional questions? Let's pick Dave's brain while we've got him. We've got him for another 15 minutes or
Yep,
so,
that's fine.
and then
Yep.
we'll take a break before our next awesome speaker.
But I was going to go back one more time on the patented plants. We did start selling last year, and we're selling again for 2023 as a cut flower mums. They're actually from Syngenta, and they are patented plants, so you can't take cuttings. So you're buying one plant and grow one plant, one stem and harvest off it. If you let that plant come back in your tunnel or greenhouse next year, that's fine, but you can't take cuttings and make more. That's not allowed. There are what they call heirloom mums that some other places sell, like King's Mum sells them, and Harmony Harvest Farm is going to sell them, and Clara Joyce Farm is selling them. Those are open source. You can take all the cuttings you want off of those. But the ones that we sell are patented and you can't take cuttings. They're all great plants, work great. You just can't make more plants out of them. But when you grow them, you pinch them, you get 4 to 6 stems off each one. So you're going to make good money off of them. So anybody got questions out there?
Okay, so Monica's asking, what licenses in New York State do sellers need in order to sell bare root plants? For example, I bought a bare root from Walter's Garden. Can I then sell it to a customer?
That would be your question answer.
Yeah, I think that what you would need is actually a nursery license through Ag and Markets. They're very easy to get. I think, what is it? Somebody can help me with this. I think it's about $100 for 2 years. It may have gone up, but it's a very easy process. They just need to come and inspect your property as far as where you'll be growing. Even if you're just starting seeds in your basement, they'll come down to your basement, step over your kids' toys, just make sure you're not really propagating anything invasive or that you don't have some horrible disease issue. They're very nice. You do, if you want to sell something next year, though, in this upcoming growing season, I would apply now. Okay, Miranda said, and she just went through all this a couple of years ago, it's $100 for 2 years, but definitely go ahead and apply now because they are short-staffed when it comes to inspectors.
Right.
Okay, and then go ahead.
One thing that they do look for when they come to visit is that your stuff is clean, that you're not going to be selling your cute little potted plant that's full of weeds and seeds and invasive things like that. So you
absolutely
have a clean farm if you're going to be having the license.
And it is a really nice side hustle for a flower farmer.
Oh, yeah.
Because you
Very
are
good.
propagating so much, you're going to have extras, and it allows you to have something to sell in that very early season before you do have a lot of cut flowers.
I did it, and I would buy a tray of 50 perennials, and I would plant up 15 in a flat of 15 plants and sell those, and that more than paid for the ones that I planted in the field for cutting.
Wow. And then it was the gift that kept on giving, right?
Exactly. Yep.
Kept coming back year after year. Okay, and Jenny in Pennsylvania mentioned that you need a nursery greenhouse license for anything that is seed or had roots to be sold, $40 per year for the license. Okay, so that's good to know. And then Katie chimed in, about somebody had asked earlier about native plant seed. There's some recommendations for that in the chat. Okay, Karen wants to know, hi Dave, can you talk a bit about why order cancellations might happen? For example, with some new dahlia varieties that appear to be available at the time of ordering.
Yeah, one of the biggest problems with any kind of plant product, whether it's seeds, liners, plugs, or bare root, is you're selling them before when they're still in the ground or not even produced yet sometimes, and a lot can go wrong. Everything from plug trays can get overwatered, die, disease, whatever problem, and they don't have another one to replace it. With bulb and like dahlias, literally the orders are placed and the plants are still in the ground. When they dig them, they find problems with them. They don't process them well, something goes wrong, or they thought they planted and they're going to dig up 10,000 and they dig them up and there's only 6,000. And that's why orders get canceled or sometimes quantities reduced. Unfortunately, we're not selling nuts and bolts. We can get more out of the back closet in the warehouse. You know, it's plant material. Some of these things like the dahlias were started over a year ago. So it's not like they can say, oh, we need another 4,000 of this variety. Let's go get them. It's too late for this year. They got to wait another year to do it again. Unfortunately, it's just part of the business. There's not really a way to stop it other than not taking orders until the product is in the warehouse here in the US, and that would be a nightmare. There are some online sellers that resell some of our products that do that, where they'll buy ranunculus anemones or different things and resell them, and they open their store at, November 15th at 10 a.m. and don't sell till it's in their hands. But the volume of stuff that we do, we couldn't do that. It just doesn't work.
Any other questions? Are you seeing any trends maybe for the upcoming year in terms of either hearing through the grapevine, or have you seen data? What are the hot new flowers that maybe we hadn't thought about before?
Well, I'll say, dahlias for the past 4 or 5 years have been crazy hot. Weddings, pretty much every wedding from August to October has dahlias in it. Dahlias are something that don't ship, so they don't usually come to the wholesale chain. So if you're growing local dahlias and doing them well, you can sell a lot of them. I have a customer out in Oregon who last year she grew a lot of her own, but she only bought 150 dahlias last year. This year she's ordered about 4,000 of them because 2 different wholesalers will buy everything she has, because she can deliver the wholesale and they deliver the florist. Is not going in a truck or a box. So the quality is so much better. I want to say that mums are getting in vogue again, whether it's the fancy or weird, if you want to say that, for the heirloom. Some of them are kind of weird looking, or just the standard pom-poms and, plain looking dahlia, plain looking mums. It's just people are growing them because people will buy them. And the mums are a great follow-up for usually right after you've had your first cold weather and your frost and your dahlias are slowing down and you need that big flower. Then you get 3 or 4 weeks of mums, and most places can keep the mums going up till Thanksgiving. Up in New York, you might need a little bit of heat in a tunnel just to protect them from a freeze, but usually Thanksgiving, you can squeeze them out till then. Other than that, it's just, I think flowers in general, whether it's new growers, new customers buying the flowers, are just still really high demand. It started with COVID, where people were at home and literally sending flowers to friends and family that couldn't visit, or just having flowers in their own house. And luckily it's stuck and people are still buying cut flowers. In the business, bedding plants went through the roof for COVID, and it's leveled off and actually gone down a little bit, but cut flowers continues to increase.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Well, as long as I've got you here, I'm just going to keep at you
Yeah,
with questions.
Questions. I don't have to go anywhere till 4.
Okay, great. So one of the things, that hopefully everybody's ordered their Lysianthus, but I find it so hard to crop plan with them just based on, when you want them to bloom, but then you have the different maturity varieties.
Right.
And also the different plug sizes. I'm assuming your larger, bigger plugs are a little bit older than your tinier ones in the
Correct.
smaller cells. Just, is there a way to gauge how much lead time one might need versus the other, or is it really kind of in your own hands?
You mean lead time of when you plant versus when they bloom?
Yeah, as far as
Yeah.
like if I ordered a 288 tray versus what is it, the 160,
Right.
how many more weeks out? I mean, am I almost setting myself up for succession, ordering both sizes, or should I plan on waiting and getting it in another shipment in a bigger size, or it just?
Yeah, well, Lysianthus are different because they bloom in relation to the age of the plant, temperature, and light. But in general, I know when I was growing Lysianthus, July 4th is when they started blooming, no matter when I planted them. So the sooner I planted them, the taller they would be. So a Lysianthus planted for me March 30th was taller than one planted April 30th. They still bloom the same time, but the one had 4 weeks more growing time, so it got taller. Now you do have the Lysianthus groups, 1, 2, 3, and there are some 4s out there, where the 1s are going to grow and bloom sooner. May not be a little bit shorter, but they're going to bloom sooner. it's only a couple weeks sooner. So if you plant group 1, 2, and 3 side by side, you might get flowers June 25th, July 4th, and July 15th. So it's going to spread like that.
So that's your best hope for
your
the
best hope
succession.
to spread it out. The other thing is Lisianthus reblooms really well. The trick is to harvest it, leaving just a 1-inch stump. So you only get 2 or 3 new stems or new shoots that come out, and those will be nice and tall as long as you still water them. And I like to give them a little extra fertilizer later in the summer, because I always like to say the roots have eaten all the food they could reach. You need to give them some more.
Very
So
good.
Lisianthus does a great rebloom. Often if you'll, between all the early and late ones, the 1s to the 3s, your 1s will often be reblooming before you finish picking all your 3s. So you kind of, once they start blooming, you have continuous Lisianthus until frost.
Excellent. Okay, Hannah actually has a question. She says, my business is going into year 7, expanding, but I'm not so sure how large I'm interested in getting. My question is about scale and how small of orders can you make in general?
For the plugs, you just have to fill a box. And some places like Q-Pack, the one that I was showing when I was placing the fake order, they'll ship you 1 tray, but it's still going to cost you $20 or $30 to ship that 1 tray, or you could pick up 1 tray if you're close enough. So you can, some of the growers may have very small orders. The 2 perennial growers in Pennsylvania, Creek Hill and North Creek, they both do 1 tray order. There's another one in Pennsylvania called Greenleaf. They will do 1 tray, and they're different because they charge freight per tray. It's like $6 or $7 per tray. So if you order 1 tray, you pay like $8 in shipping. Order 3 trays is $24 in shipping. So it doesn't hurt. You don't have to fill a box to make it economical. For Edney, their minimum is $250. So you do need to get a few more things with them. But it doesn't take long to get that much. And if you're growing this as a business, an order of 4 plug trays shouldn't be too much. It's most likely too little. I always like to say grow more than you think you need and just work a little harder to sell it. And as far as deciding how big you want to be, you got to find that point where I can't do it all myself now and I need help. And do you want to hire employees and deal with that, or to keep it small and manageable for 1 person?
So maybe talk about the advantages of really looking through the different producers and looking up their terms and finding how close they are to you, because that can really make a big difference in the amount you'll pay for shipping.
Yeah. Well, one thing is if you go into WebTrack, I think I'm still sharing my screen here. If you go to WebTrack and leave the vendor empty there and hit the little magnifying glass, it brings up all of our vendors. Oh, I click it. Hang on a second. I gotta get that. Leave the search for a box empty, hit the magnifying glass. It brings them all up and you can see where they're at. And you can't even search by, there's little arrows here. And I just sorted by state. Some of these don't have a state listed because they're ever in a foreign place that supply unrooted cuttings. You wouldn't be buying from them. But if you go down here, it starts here, Alabama, BC, then here's California. So you can go down here, Florida. Now, again, there's lots of pages. Here's Ontario. So Pennsylvania would be a little bit after that. So here's our Pennsylvania growers. We got Creek Hill, Grow and Sell, Greenleaf Plants, North Creek, Peachtree. So these are all the ones that are in Pennsylvania. You can't see the terms here. You have to then go back and actually put them in an order or search for them to look at their terms. But this tells you who's in the area. Go back to New York.
Yeah, and in our little tiny New England states, something in New Jersey might be closer than what's in your own state.
Yes.
For example, in New York,
Yeah.
Western New York, you can get to, it's
Yeah,
a lot bigger trip than just over the border.
Yeah, we only have, actually, it's now only 4 places in New York because Silverleaf Greenhouses closed after last year. They sold to a marijuana grower.
Oh, no, I love them.
They were great because they had an amazing assortment of scented geraniums that no one else had. And,
oh my gosh. Yeah,
yeah.
I have a friend who gets her herb plugs from them. Do you have an alternative that you would recommend?
Yes, Greenleaf in Pennsylvania took over there.
Okay.
So they have the
Guess
whole
it's going to be a longer road trip for us girls this year.
the whole herb list that Silverleaf had, Greenleaf now does.
Oh, I'm so glad to know that. Okay.
But now some of these like Dickman Farms and Van Wettering, those are definitely bedding plant, your petunias, geraniums, that kind of stuff. Which if you're doing that, that's great to buy from them. Now I want to point out something else here. See this gold ball over here? these are Ball Gold suppliers. These are the ones that either Ball owns or has a strategic partnership with, where we might be partial owners. We have a thing called Edge shipping, which is kind of like Amazon Prime. You pay $350 a year and everything shipped from these gold suppliers is free shipping. The only thing is you have to fill the box. And there's only one that really carries a lot of cut flower stuff, and that is Ball Tagawa. Even though they're in California, if you were to buy from Ball Tagawa and pay $350 for the years of shipping, if you get 5 boxes, you're coming out ahead. So for someone who wants to do succession planning of celotias and snapdragons all summer, or someone who gets in, there's growers who order 20 trays of Lisianthus, this would be a great option to, even though you're on the East Coast, buy from Ball Tagawa on the West Coast to get that free shipping. Because even if you buy from Grow and Sell, you're paying $30 a box to ship it. Here you save that. The only requirement is the boxes have to be full. And obviously, order in advance like normal. Ball Tagawa also does have a lot of excess availability in the spring. And if you buy from that, it would still qualify for the free shipping. But you would sign up for the Edge through your sales rep or through the Colorlink office.
Good to know.
And when you do sign up for it, it's not like January to December. It's from whenever you sign up for 12 months. So if your first order ships March 1st, have it start March 1st this year, and it goes all the way to February 28th next year.
Yeah, and that, especially if you're a small grower and maybe you partnered with another small grower and you place your order together,
right?
You really take advantage of that shipping price. And
like
anything with wholesaling, both whether you're selling, and Amelia is actually going to talk about cooperatives, but this is where collaboration over competition really can help you out as far as being able to save.
I've always said it's better to work with your competition than work against them. I sold at farmers markets. There were several cut flower growers there, and we're friends and still friends. You do better if you work together than working against each other, which talking about the co-ops with the selling, that's a huge thing that's really helping a lot of farmers sell a lot more stuff, because when they go to a florist and that florist has stuff from 6 different farms, they might place a $1,000 order, but they might have only bought $100 from 2 of those farmers before because it was too difficult.
Right. Let's make our lives easier.
Yes.
Any more questions for Dave?
Hi, this is Carla.
Hi, Carla.
So Carla is actually here with Amelia, and it's always great talking to another Carla with a C. But yeah, so we're getting some thank yous in the chat box.
Okay.
And it's nice to know that you are our sales rep and that.
Well, I'm not everybody's sales rep. That's what I'm going to point out. There are the 5 of us in the Colorlink office. I mean, in the Colorlink sales office. I have about 600 customers. Each of the other 4 have 150 customers. That's about 1,200 customers that we deal with, and we're assigned to them. Everybody else would be through the Colorlink office, that team of about 8 people in the office in West Chicago. So yeah, I can't be the sales rep for everybody. Believe me, I drive no way. I'm always available to answer questions about growing cut flowers, but if you're not assigned to me, if you have questions about your orders or availability or pricing, that should go to a rep that's assigned to you or to the Colorlink office. And the rep that's assigned to you would be on your any orders that you have. I'm looking here real quick. I'm going to show you where to find it.
And the feedback that I've gotten from people who have reached out, I'm of the generation where we're starting to become terrified of phones. And, I don't like to make phone calls, but I know that you do have to call these folks. They're lovely and very, very accommodating, and will walk you through everything.
Yeah. The people in the Colorlink office will walk you through working with WebTrack. If you're on there and you get stuck, they will help you. Their record is one time they spent 4.5 hours on the phone with somebody getting all their orders entered.
Oh my goodness.
So they're there to help you.
Dedication. They'll
do it. And if it's a 5-minute call or an hour helping you get your orders entered, they'll help you do it. But I just opened up an order here. That was my eucalyptus. Here is where you would see your sales rep is right here on the order. It says sales rep. So
super.
I'm my own sales rep, but it might say someone else's name, or it would say Colorlink if you're signed to Colorlink. but use those when you need to, if you have a question, need to contact somebody with a problem with an order to get an order entered.
Excellent.